therefore I encourage everybody to try for themselves and dive into this experience. Yeah. My name is André. I'm a sommelier from Austria in Europe. Well, essentially, it's now becoming almost 25 years. I had a head start because I was in the first group of the so-called young sommeliers in Austria that ever have been educated, where they start at a teenage age. You should know in Austria, legal drinking age is 16.
Oh, wow.
They made a test if they could educate teenagers professionally. And I was picked. I was lucky. I was at the right time at the right place, and I was offered this education. So, if you will, I have a head start. And ever since, I got down the rabbit hole deeper and deeper. Yeah. So now it's 25 years essentially. Yeah. Probably 20 years ago, when I traveled the first time to Japan, I fell in love with your country overall. It just stole a part of my heart. The whole culture really lasted quite an impression on me in every part. So, and naturally, as sake is the oldest fermented beverage in the world, I felt it's just almost logic for me to pursue and learn more about this craft too. A couple of years, you remember when we had the times of COVID, obviously our business was in lockdown as well, just like about everywhere. We had to shut down for evident reasons, and I had time at my hand, and I started to think, what should I do? Yeah, you're doomed to do nothing, so you make use of the time. And I started educating myself on sake, and eventually took the first step into a certified sake sommelier. So make the best out of the time, and that's the spirit why I'm right now, after selling the hotel and freeing myself up as well time-wise, I decided to come here, and essentially it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, even being accepted, as it's a one-on-one course. So I feel very humble and grateful to be here. You know, it's one thing to study something from books or even from videos. It's another thing to get your hands dirty, as we say, though it might not be applied, because cleanliness is paramount in this job here. So it's more the metaphor. Once you touch something, you connect in a different level. And I have to say, you get a clearer idea of how much effort it is, not only because you have to be here day and night, you baby the Fujii, which is so fragile, and it's physical labor, it's a tough labor, leave alone as we just steamed the rice, which is happening right now behind us, or you wash the rice, so all of a sudden it's very cold, then it's very hot. So it's an effort, and what really again struck me, the level of precision. Prior, when we started Moromi, we were measuring the water temperature, and you realize how much 1 degree difference can make, and how relevant it is. It's such details that make or break it. And this is very fascinating and humbling, because I feel, I mean, I'm obviously very deep into wine and including the production and everything, but I sense, and this is not meant in a disrespectful way to winemakers, it's a bit more relaxed. This is more complex here.
More like precise for the details.
Yes, so precision, I mean, there's obviously a level of experience and intuition. As we steam the rice, you can't see anything, you just feel it, literally, which is a sense of intuition as well. but then you very much you calculate, you have to document and literally react on the spot if something is not according going to plan. So precision is the level of precision is remarkable, and something that probably you don't grasp just reading it. Yeah, you only once you experience it, it really hits you what it actually means. Yeah.
What do you see the sake industry, sake culture? So you're from Austria, in Europe or outside of Japan. What is a possibility? What is the future, you think?
Well, essentially, I see that the market is shifting in Europe. I mean, we have a big trend on one hand to low alcohol and no alcohol beverages, which is a big thing right now. But on the other hand, as customers are traveling more, they're getting more educated, and they want, actually, they are opening up, and restaurants seek to diversify everywhere. I mean, whether it be in the United States, in South America, where you go, those who really want to be on the forefront, on the top of the game, they need to take it to the next step. So probably just concentrating on wine might not make it anymore for everybody. So I see great potential. Sake, obviously, of the premium level, will still increase market shares in overseas as the interest is rising. So obviously there is demand to import, to bring it to the country. I mean, we're going to the point that even in Austria, meanwhile, we have a handful of sake breweries established, yeah, which I find remarkable. It's because they want to try to do their own thing. So that's why I believe in terms of export, there is growing interest, and especially for the high quality products, from my perspective as coming from the restaurant world, there's great chances. I cannot talk obviously for the bigger portion of the market, which might be the lower quality or the simpler qualities. But from my perspective in the restaurant industry, there's good momentum, and there are good chances for sake to interest more and more guests and more customers. And that's why obviously we need more and more professionals being educated to transport the message and introduce the customer to this wonderful world of sake abroad.
Let's say I only know about wine. I have no idea about sake. What do you tell me about sake?
Well, first of all, we will start and define what it is. So we have a lot of myths going on, unfortunately. So I would say many mistake it for soju. That's the first thing that people mix up. So they think like it's a spirit. Then we say like, okay, think of it as a wine, because we kind of treat it like wine in drinking and even the alcohol level. So it's a rice-based product, but the production somewhat more resembles beer making. So that's why even we call or refer to it as a brewery. So then we have some basic steps, and the perception drinking it obviously very much differs from wine. For me, wine is something that always starts with a great sensation smelling it, and the palate confirms to some degree, well, with some wines more, with some wines less, what you already did smell. Whereas with sake, you don't smell much. I mean, very decent fragrance, but once it hits your palate, thanks to all this huge amount of amino acids we have in this beverage, you have this umami, which enriches and plays with you And that's why it works so well with food pairings, because actually it's very much collaborating with the food. Whereas with wine, you have really to be careful, because if I make you the wrong suggestion, I can even destroy the experience with fighting two contrastive flavors, for example. Whereas with sake, I believe this hardly can happen. So sake is gladly enhancing the food experience, but not meaning that it's stepping back. It's very much supportive. And therefore, I encourage everybody to try for themselves and dive into this experience. Yeah. Fundamental in Japanese food culture as well. And that's another part where you can see that more and more chefs in Europe or worldwide are picking up on that, trying to learn how to utilize and make more out of probably their products, out of their foods. And the more they might pick up on such techniques, the more interesting even it will get again for sake, I believe. Yeah, absolutely, it's a great heritage of Japan that definitely has its place in the world of beverages.
Well, thank you so much.
Likewise, my pleasure. Thank you for your time
And
and for your
for the
interest.
rest of your Japanese trip.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fruit, even fruits, or
okay,
even
okay.
sweet,
Dessert.
or Japanese sensitive broth.